Hey there, YouTube. It's the 1st of December. The 1st of December, and it's a Monday. So this ought to be interesting. There is some sun here today. It's a nice sunny day. And I'm not really dressed that warmly for the weather. It is pretty windy though. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so they're saying like a snowstorm. I don't know. You can never really trust the weather reports or anything else around here where I am. They don't seem to be very accurate, the weather reports around here. But either way, we're probably going to get snow. I don't know how much, you know, because again, not that accurate with the weather reports, but they're saying it's a snowstorm tomorrow. So that will, well, for the part of the state that I'm in, for my area, that'll be the first snow that I've seen this year or this winter. So unless you count like January, February of earlier this year, but I count that as last winter, obviously. So anyway, it'll be the first snow for like this round of winter, I guess, for me. Yeah, I'm wearing a corset. I mean, I usually wear this red kind of like buckle corset. This red piece that I'm wearing is not a real corset. It just has like snaps, like little button snaps in the back, so it doesn't lace up like a real corset. But this green piece that I'm wearing underneath, that's like a real steel boned corset. And I started wearing corsets again for the first time in a long time last night. I was wearing my black one last night here at the club, and holy crap, it's so weird to think, but I actually used to be able to do pole tricks. I used to be able to go upside down on the pole here at the club. That's where I am right now. I'm at the club, about to go into work pretty soon. I worked last night until close. I definitely did not try to go on the pole in my corset last night because, yeah, it was my first time wearing like a real corset like that in a while. I'm pretty sure I didn't wear them at all last year or last winter. I mean, obviously I would never wear them in the summer. Corsets for me are like a cold weather kind of thing. And it really does keep me warmer. Like, I definitely prefer these to a jacket, you know what I mean? But so yeah, it's just weird to think that I actually used to be able to go upside down on the pole in a corset. I'm trying to think, I'm pretty sure at some point I would have gotten a picture of that or some kind of thing like that, but I can't even remember. Like, that was so long ago, it was so many years ago that I really can't exactly remember. And it's hard for me to even believe now that I was able to do that. I really hope that I can like not attempt to do that ever again. Like, I hope I just don't act a fool and try to do that again at any point, because that's just no for me right now. Yeah, I definitely had to let these corsets out for me to be able to get them back on. Granted, I mean, like, once you put them on, you usually tighten them. So like, I'll put them on and then I'll tighten the strings and then I'll take them off with the strings still tightened. So I guess it would make sense that I wouldn't be able to put them back on just how they are, because usually how they are when I take them off is like tightened all the way. So I want to think that's part of why I wasn't able to get them back on without loosening them. But holy crap. So I picked a really weird time to do it too, because yeah, last night was my first time in like years and years and years. Do you guys like my stocking? It's only December 1st and I'm already like dressed like a full-on Christmas elf, pretty much. But I was waiting to wear these stockings because pretty much all my socks need to be washed, and these were just like not worn, you know, because I wouldn't wear these any other time of year. So I was like, oh yeah, I can finally wear these socks that are like already clean. Crap, what was I saying? So yeah, it's been so long since I've worn the corsets. Oh, so I picked a really weird time to do it because like last night was one thing, but then last night I was wearing a black one. This morning, or this afternoon, I should say, I'm wearing this green one. And we're supposed to get snow tomorrow. So I have my snow shovel in the back in the trunk of my car, and underneath that is just like was like piles and piles and piles of my stripper shoes. And I knew, like in the back of my mind, I was like, I gotta clear out some of those shoes so I'll be able to access that shovel and like move it in and out of the trunk, you know. Okay, so I was really excited to try to get out and do this video today because yeah, the sun is out, and normally I try to do Tinka Tuesday videos on Tuesdays, but honestly, I probably won't try to come into work tomorrow. If my favorite manager was working, I might try, but I don't think he is. In the past, I've worked through a lot of snowstorms here at the club when like certain other people were working, just because I wanted to work when whoever I had a crush on was working at that time. But I want to think that I've kind of like grown out of that a little bit to where, yeah, I don't think my favorite manager is working tomorrow, so I haven't really grown out of it. Because like I said, if he was working tomorrow, or if I was aware that he was, I'd probably still try to come in and just like see it as an excuse to like get some of the snow off of my car, like before it really builds up or whatever I would tell myself with that. I don't know. But anyways, so I wanted to try to prepare as best I could in some way, shape, or form for the snow tomorrow. So I did really want to start this video because yeah, I'm in a rush to like get out, get the last little bit of daylight here for today, and try to sign into the club to work for tonight. I want to try to sign in for the afternoon for a certain time. But so I knew that I wanted to try to clear those shoes as best I could. I was just like, you know, just like make a dent at least. So I had this big trash bag that I got here at the club, like the big ones that had been pending for a while, that I had like put aside knowing that I was going to use it for some kind of cleaning project or trying to organize something. So I was like, okay, now is the time to put this thing to use. It's like a big Santa sack size like trash bag, you know, like the big ones, like industrial. So I'm wearing my corset, by the way, doing this. I put my corset on, and then I'm thinking like, how do I always end up with the weirdest timing, like the dumbest timing for stuff like this? Like for me to try to take all those shoes out at once, it was a good, I would say 10, 15, 20 pairs of shoes probably, all busted up, all bad pairs of shoes, by the way. So yeah, I'm wearing my corset, and I really want to just like, you know, get to the club, get here and do my video while it's still daylight. But I was like, all right, just try to get some of these shoes. So I did. I mean, I stuffed that trash bag full of almost all the shoes back there. I obviously left a few pairs, like the ones that I've been wearing the most recently. But I'd lost count. I wasn't like counting them. I was in such a rush. But this trash bag was like a Santa sack. It was stuffed full of shoes to where I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to lift it. And I was like, damn, like, what am I going to do now? But I did. I had to like, and I was wearing my big heavy backpack on my back doing this as well. So my backpack is like probably 13, 14, 15 pounds or so. So this thing is stuffed full of shoes, and stripper shoes are heavy, you know, like they're almost like ankle weights each pair. So this thing is stuffed almost to the brim, this bag, and you know, I'm just lifting it up with, like, from the bottom, from the sides, just carrying it as best I can. my apartment is, you know, like on one of the higher floors, so I had to climb a flight of stairs, and then there's like a second flight of stairs after the first one that leads to my place. So, and there's a door, like there's a door there, but leading up to my actual door. So behind that first door with the second staircase, I just shoved this bag full of shoes onto that stairwell, into that stairwell as best I could, and shut the door, locked the door. So basically, when I get back to my apartment after my 10-hour shift later tonight / early tomorrow morning after midnight, I'm going to be opening that door, and there's going to be this huge sack blocking the doorway, just stuffed full of shoes. I'm going to have to, like, I'm not going to be feeling up to doing it then, obviously, but that's the only way that I'd be able to get up the stairs to my apartment, is to like organize some of those shoes and take them out of the bag and stuff. So I'm really not looking forward to that. And I'm just thinking to myself the entire time, like, why am I doing this, wearing this corset right now? Because I haven't worn a corset in so long until last night. And doing that, like trying to lift that bag of shoes was going to be like a really difficult task and project no matter what I was wearing, yet alone wearing this corset that I can barely move or breathe in. But you know what? I wanted to wear this green one today because it's green and I'm wearing red and it's December 1st. So I wanted to have like a kind of December Christmas kind of sort of outfit, I guess. I don't know. Just any reason that I can try to give myself to get up and do something with my day or my night. Everything really just feels pretty pointless and meaningless to me. Like, I'm not really getting anywhere in my life, and I haven't been for a long time. It's really just a bunch of pain and suffering and pointless bullshit, it seems like. But I'm still trying to pretend that it's not. Just like, I'm still just trying to fool myself, and you know what I mean, just like, oh, I get to do a YouTube video, I get to wear an outfit, I get to dress up and try to pick something sort of cute or something different, something new to wear that I haven't worn in my videos before, or I don't know what. But I do really like these kind of like candy cane stockings though. But oh my gosh, these corsets though, holy crap, oh god, my back hurts so bad. I'm really not going to be wearing this much tonight. Oh god, I didn't wear the one that I was wearing last night, the black one. I didn't wear that very often. Oh, I didn't wear that very long. I only wore it for like one round on stage, and that round on stage I really couldn't do a whole lot. And I'm just glad that I didn't try to go on the pole, you know, just to like show myself that I could do it, because again, I could barely move in that thing. I just can't believe that I used to go on the pole, let alone that I used to go upside down on the pole wearing these things. Like, I don't know how I was ever able to do that. I'm pretty sure I got a picture at one point. I just can't remember. It was so long ago. It'd be so hard to try to find it now, you know? I'm pretty sure I posted it on my Facebook, but anyway. So yeah, in my video yesterday, I was talking about this guy that had been at the club this past Friday during the day shift for like the Black Friday day shift. And when he first got to the club, like in the early afternoon, pretty much shortly after we had just opened for the day, he said that he was only going to be at the club for like a quick 15-20 minutes and that kind of thing. But he ended up staying for like, I think 5.5, 6, almost 7 hours, I'm pretty sure. He ended up staying for like pretty much the entire day shift, and he went upstairs with a dancer a couple times. And then after his second time upstairs, when I say upstairs, I mean VIP. So after his second time upstairs in VIP with her, he had seemed really nice and just real chill, really down to earth, really cool all day long, right up until, or from what I saw of him anyways, right up until he got back downstairs from VIP that second time. And I'm pretty sure that was his second time anyways, from what I had noticed. But yeah, so then when he left very, very abruptly and shortly after doing that second VIP room. And like I said, right up until that point, he had been here all day, like going outside and smoking, I think, and like coming back in, like, and then so he was like just kind of hanging out and chilling for the whole day, despite what he said when he first got here. And then he just left so abruptly after that second VIP room that, and he seemed very upset all of a sudden and very different at that point. So I was kind of like, what happened? You know, like, did he all of a sudden just get really drunk? Or he was only drinking wine, and I'm pretty sure he only had a few glasses of wine from what he said and what I saw. So, and I just know that I personally don't get drunk from wine. Not that I drink it anyways, because I don't like it, but in the past when I've tried it, it just didn't seem, part of the reason I don't like it besides the taste is that it just didn't seem like the kind of thing that would get me drunk if I wanted to get drunk. So it was weird to me to think like if he would have been drunk or not. I didn't think that he would have been, just from what I saw him drinking, just a few glasses of wine. But anyways, he was definitely clearly upset. I don't know if he was drunk or not, but he was definitely upset when he left the club, or he seemed like he was. Very, very different than when he first got here and how I had seen him all up throughout the day up until that point. So I had gotten his number earlier in the day, and I was kind of like worried about it, you know, a little bit. Like, I was trying not to worry about it, but I was, you know, a little bit. So, but I had told him I was going to text him Sunday, which was yesterday. So I did text him last night, and thank gosh he texted me back. It took him a little while. He didn't text me back at first, so then I was like really starting to get anxious, like, oh God, I hope he's okay. But he did text me back. And he had actually mentioned something about coming back to the club today on Monday. So I asked him last night if he was still thinking about maybe coming back today, and he didn't really give a clear answer. He was like, well, how long would we be able to hang out? And I was just like, as long as you want, basically. And I was just like, I hope you're feeling better. Like, I hope you're okay, kind of thing. I don't know. He didn't really say much back, but he did at least respond, like, in some way, shape, or form. So just like as an indication that apparently he's like, I want to think he's okay and like still like alive, like still breathing. I don't know. But so at least I did hear back from him. I don't know. It's just, maybe I'll see him tonight or today. I don't know if I should text him again today or not. I don't know. Maybe I will later. We'll see. What else? This second top wig that I'm wearing right now, this bushy one, I washed and dried this top wig that I'm wearing at the club last night. It was quite a project. I had been wanting to do that for so long because it just had this smell to it. I'm assuming from somebody that I had danced with in the past. It's really weird because some people have like a smell that like never goes away, and not in a good way. Like for me anyways, like it's very disturbing and very like unsettling, and just something in my nasal cavities like really, really just doesn't like what it smells like. It really, really, really makes me feel ill, like nauseous, and just not good. Just a very, very bad smell. And I don't know how to describe it. I've used certain descriptive terms of trying to describe it in the past that I'm not going to say right now because it just sounds weird. I don't know. It doesn't sound very nice. It just smells so bad. Like, and this would have been from a long time ago because people that smell like that, I really, really try to avoid them. Like, I'll try not to do dances with them or like even be near them. Like, when that kind of smell hits my nasal cavities, I just want to be as far away from it as possible. So for that smell to have been in this wig, it would have had to have been from a long time ago, I'd want to think. And I don't know how it would still linger like that. It's just, humans are weird. I don't know how some people have that smell to them that just is that powerful and strong and just but also bad. Like really, really bad. Anyways, but this is a very warm wig, so I had been wanting to wash this for a long time and just hadn't gotten around to it. So, but I did find a few minutes last night. So I had this huge bushy thing in the sink, and our sinks here at the club are not very big, but it was one of those times where I wasn't going to be on stage for a little while, and I was getting really anxious not going on stage, and just like there was nobody here. It was a very slow night once again. So I had this in one of the sinks, like just like almost an entire bottle of soap practically. Like the suds were like practically flowing out of the sink. Like I was just like sudsing this thing. Like I was giving it a good washing. I was giving it a good sudsing. Like there were bubbles everywhere. Like just like, I'm so extra and so dramatic when I do stuff like that, when I like smell something like that I don't like. So I was just like, I mean, like multiple rounds, just like so much soap. And then this thing is big and heavy, so it's like dripping water after I rinsed it. And I'm trying my best to like squeeze it out, like kind of not squeegee it, but like rinse, you just like, you know, get the water out. So then but still, it's still dripping water. So I'm like dragging it back to my like locker room and the dressing room and stuff. And thank gosh there was a blow dryer in there. So it took me a good, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to blow dry this thing, but I did it. And I honestly, I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't smelled anything bad in it since I started wearing it again. I put it on last night after I dried it, and I was wearing it for the rest of the night, and I didn't smell a thing except soap. And oh God, I love that. So I was very proud of myself for that. And then, anyways, but that's just about the way. Back to what I was talking about with that guy from Friday. You know, it's like a very kind of accepted notion, I guess, here at the club, but also just elsewhere. I think just in life in general, like, you know, this guy was in his 30s. He was pretty much my age. It's like, you know, he's a big boy, he can take care of himself kind of thing. Like I complain about stuff a lot here on my channel and in my videos, and it's like, I'm a big girl, I should be able to take care of myself, that kind of thing. But I don't know, I used to be a caregiver, caring for old people. And I guess the retirement age they say is like 65 or so. So, but I don't know, it's just interesting to me, like, it's okay to look out for young people and for old people. Depending on the person and their situation, not everyone is fortunate or lucky enough to have people that care for them in their childhood or their older age. But I feel like the generally accepted notion as a society is that usually it's obviously children, but maybe like, you know, teenagers, young adults like in their early 20s, or there's more leeway there. Like maybe for people in their 20s, there's more leeway. Once you're in your 30s or even just like mid to late 20s, it's kind of like, you know, stop complaining. You're an adult, do what you gotta do, and that's it. And then it's pretty much that way until what? I guess, what's the magic age? Like 65 or 70s, 80s, pretty old age. You know, it's normal for most people to try to watch out for older people when they can. Not everybody, obviously, but that's like it seems like the generally accepted notion in society. If somebody is clearly elderly, of old age, you might want to try to help them out when you can. Look out for them, especially if they're a friend or family member. Whereas it's like, what, 30s, 40s, 50s, all of that time in between, you're pretty much just on your own. Especially if you're single, it's like, good luck. You're pretty much like left to your own devices. And if you can't handle your shit, then that's tough. Like, that's on you. I guess some people are on disability, or some people have assistance, financial or otherwise. Some people live with their families. I know one dancer that's close to my age that was living with her mother for quite a while until she's in a relationship now. So I think she moved in with her boyfriend, and has been living with him for some time. But for quite a while, up until that point, when I knew her, I had known her here at the club for quite a few years, and she told me that she had been living with her mother for pretty much all that time until she met this guy that she's with now. Everyone's situation is different, you know, but I don't know. I just really, me being in my 30s and single, and I've been single for a long time, it is a kind of a weird notion, this weird feeling of like, you're just kind of on your own and you just better do the best you can. I mean, I don't have assistance, financial or otherwise. I don't have family in the area. I don't have healthcare. I have a lot of history, past traumas, PTSD, what I would imagine would be untreated health conditions, both mental and physical, to the point where sometimes I wonder if I did have healthcare, if I did talk to somebody, if maybe I could be on disability or I could get some kind of financial assistance. I really hardly make any money here as a dancer at the club, but then it's such a weird thing with this kind of lifestyle. It's like, well, try harder, dress sluttier, be sluttier, talk to more guys, be willing to push your boundaries more with guys. I don't really know exactly what society's answer for that would be or what the response for that would be, but it's a very confusing, difficult kind of situation to me to wonder about it and be like, well, what is the right thing to try to do? What is the right way if I were to try to get some kind of assistance or some kind of to improve my quality of life somehow, which I really don't feel like I have very much quality of life. But if I were to try to make improvements, you know, which I've pretty much been stuck as to trying to figure out how to do that for quite a while, it's like, well, what is the right answer? Because this is just not a regular kind of job doing this, being a stripper, especially the club that I'm at. We're contractors and we make our own schedule, we make our own hours, we decide who we talk to, we decide who we dance for, etc. But you know, like there's a lot of guys here that I don't even want to look at, get alone talk to or dance for. But then there's other times where I'll still push myself. I don't always, but sometimes I'll still try to push myself to do it anyways if it's really slow or whatever the case may be. And then even then it's like, well, a lot of times it's mutual and they don't seem to want anything to do with me either. So it's like, okay, so what then? And then overall, it's just, especially the times that I work here, it's so slow. And I don't really feel able to work busier shifts like Friday or Saturday nights because there's so many other dancers. Yeah, there might be more customers, generally speaking, but there's also so many other dancers here and trying to get to those customers. Social anxiety, anxiety in general. I have an allergy to a smoke machine they use those nights. So there's a bunch of reasons that I just don't feel really able to do better here, like I don't know. I already pushed myself a lot here, but there's just a lot of reasons that I feel like I'm not able to really do very well here. But even as hard as I try, it's just not very busy. It's very, very slow. It's very slow. So it's like, you know, if I were to try to get some kind of assistance and just be like, look, I hardly have an income. The place that I work is very slow, extremely slow. And technically I'm not an employee. So technically I'm not employed, you know? But then it's like, if I were to try to say that and be like, look, I have hardly any income. Obviously, I want to try to be honest, but it's like, well, what if I do that, I say that, I got approved for some kind of financial assistance or some kind of healthcare, and then I just so happen to come into work the next day, the next night, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, which this never happens, by the way, but just by chance, all of a sudden, that next shift, I go on stage and somebody makes it rain on me. Now, like I said, for me personally, that never happens. I pretty much have to crawl on my hands and knees and beg for a single dollar here. It's pretty pathetic. And I go on the pole. You know, I'm not like this big, like, it's not like I have a gut overhanging and like pimples everywhere, and I'm not like a perfect 10, obviously. I'm not like the most attractive dancer here, but I'm not like the least attractive either, I'd want to think. Like, I want to think I'm in relatively decent shape. I go on the pole, I do pole tricks, I do try to talk to people, I try to be nice, like, I try my best to do what I can. But it's like, overall, I really just don't, it's so slow and I hardly make any money here. So it's like, if I were to just say that and try to get some assistance for that, what if just by chance the next shift, all of a sudden I do make money, or all of a sudden somebody makes it rain on me, and then somebody's like, well, look, you said you didn't have any income. You said that you don't make money here. And it would just be like one of those weird timing things, like one of those weird circumstances where it's like, that's like the one time out of 100. That's like the one, that would probably be like the one time out of the year, or like the one time, you know what I mean? It's very, very rare that that kind of thing will happen to me. It never does. So, but I just wonder sometimes, and you just really never know with this kind of job, like, I'm so used to not making money, and that's the general thing, but it's technically possible that I could. Like, it's technically possible that some random guy could come in here, take a liking to me, and tip me a bunch of money out of nowhere. But how likely is that? You know what I mean? I don't think that's very likely. It doesn't seem to be very likely, and it certainly doesn't hardly ever happen. It doesn't happen. I mean, maybe once in the blue moon, I'll get tipped a nice amount by a nice guy, which is amazing. But that's not that's not a regular thing for me here. That's a very, 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 very rare. But it's like, I don't know. It's in theory, yeah, that could happen. And in theory, you just never know. You never know who's going to walk through those doors. At least I don't. Maybe other people do. I don't know. I never know who's going to walk through those doors. I never know how many other dancers are going to be here. There's usually a lot of other dancers, and there's usually not a lot of customers. So the very usual general thing for me is to really struggle here and hardly make any money. But I just feel like other people wouldn't believe that, because in the stereotype in society, it's like, you're a stripper, you're supposed to like be rolling in the dough, you know what I mean? You're supposed to like have this fancy, expensive, glamorous lifestyle because that's what's shown in the movies, and or what seems to be a lot of the time, or that's just what people seem to have in their heads a lot of the time. And it's like, it's really frustrating, because it's like, and I do see other dancers here even that look like that's the case for them. Some of them are perfect 10s, and some of them aren't. A lot of them aren't, actually. So, and it's like, for me, I just feel like being in the middle, I guess, but not really doing well or making money. It's very confusing and it's very frustrating. And honestly, I do wish that I had thought more about this stuff before I became a dancer. But, you know, my family all just kind of like moved away, pretty much just left me where I am. So I've been left to my own devices for a long time. And I guess my point is that's kind of part of why I was really worried about this guy from Friday. You know, well, he was cute, and like I thought we kind of had hit it off a bit, but you know, people our age, and especially guys, I would imagine, but even for me being a female, it's like some people just don't, I don't know what his situation was, but he did say that he had just gotten out of a 7-year relationship. So instantly with that, I just kind of like really felt for him and felt like maybe we could relate on a certain kind of level with that, because I've just been single for so long, and it does suck. Like, parts of it are okay, parts of it can be great when you don't want to have to deal with other people and their bullshit. But I mean, you still have to deal with other people and their bullshit regardless. But I guess just maybe like not having to deal with somebody and in their crap as consistently, like on a regular basis, like one individual person, like in a relationship. But yeah, it's like 30s, 40s, 50s, maybe even for a lot of people 60s, 70s, depending on their situation. You're pretty much just like tough shit. You're left to your own devices. And if you're in a relationship, that's one thing, I guess. Like people, it's just a whole different way of being in the world. It's such a, I would imagine, like, because the people that I see that are in relationships, it's like, that's just such a different way of existing in the world. Like, it's so day and night. It's so black and white. It's so different. At least to me, that's how it seems. Like, it's difficult for me to even imagine, because I've just been so alone and so left to my own devices for so long. And I'm just so used to having nobody that I can turn to, nobody that I can talk to, nobody that I can trust, nobody that I can rely on for a single freaking thing. I mean, for anything. And that's a shitty, scary way to exist, but that's just what I'm so used to. And I guess that's what I've kind of accepted as being my permanent reality. Like, it's to the point for me where I can't fathom, I've lost all hope. I can't imagine anything ever being any different. I only see the only possibility that really feels real to me and actually feels possible is for things to just get worse at some point. I hate saying that and I hate thinking that. I try with everything in me to try not to think that way and try to not feel that way and to cling to whatever little hope, whatever positive possibility there might be. But realistically, and the truth within myself of how I really feel, it's like I've lost all hope pretty much. There's a very, very, very tiny shred of hope somewhere, I guess, in me. But other than that, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to be alone forever and I'm never going to have support or help with anything, I guess. I don't know where things could possibly go from where I am now, but it doesn't look good and it doesn't feel good and it's really scary. And then, yeah, I just kind of wonder how it is for other people. A part of me does want to be single, a big part of me, but it's like, I want to be successful. A part of me wants to stay single. A part of me wonders if maybe there's so many different types of relationships and possibilities with other people, but then it all seems to come back to like the same kind of default. That's just something that doesn't really appeal to me, like the way that most people seem to do things and most patterns that most people seem to fall into being in a relationship, just like the same old thing. So I want to like think of other possibilities and other ways of being able to be with people or in the world, like other options, other ways to do things. But again, especially where I'm from, people just seem to fall into the same patterns of like the same kind of thing that really doesn't appeal to me. So it's like, well, okay, so maybe I do want to be single, but it's like, regardless of that, I just want to be successful. And I've never even really had that. I've never even really known what it's like to be successful with anything. But that's what I really want more than anything. But yeah, I'm just like, damn, I don't know how to make that happen. I really don't. And I can't seem to figure it out. So I guess, yeah, when I meet other single people, I just kind of really feel for them, and I wonder if they struggle as much as I do, or I just wonder like what their lifestyle is like or what things might be like for them, because I just know that for me personally, this shit sucks ass, and I certainly don't want to ever have to rely on anybody else. I mean, I'm so used to being independent, but also having to be independent and having to be self-sufficient, not really having a choice. I guess you could say. A lot of the old people that I worked with back when I used to be a caregiver, a lot of those older people didn't even really seem to want the help. It was their families. They were rich, most of them, so it was like their families that were paying for them to have the care. And I remember thinking, it's awfully close. It's awfully similar, I thought, to being an assistant. And depending on how you look at it and what you call it, when it's older people, you usually call it being a caregiver. But then I was like, you know, people of all ages and all situations, if they have the money for it, people of any age in any situation could have an assistant. So it's like, what do you want to call it? How do you want to see it? Because when you're old, a lot of those old people hearing the term caregiver, they want nothing to do with that. And they're like, I don't need the help. I can do things myself. I don't need that. To where I felt really shitty a lot of the time, like I wasn't wanted or I wasn't needed being there. And their family was pretty much forcing me to be with this person who didn't want me around and treating me like crap, you know. Really like psychologically and emotionally strange and difficult situation with that. But then it's like, you know, at my age, the entire time I was thinking to myself, I want a caregiver. I need a caregiver. like I want an assistant. Like if I were them, I would be sucking up this help left and right, any direction I could get it for, like, you know, like, yes, bring it on. I want a caregiver. Just call it an assistant. Like, you know, if you're younger or if you don't like the word caregiver, call it an assistant, because it's basically the same kind of idea, just depending on what your own situation, your individual situation and needs are. But yeah, I would be thinking the whole time, like, damn, like, how does this person not want to have, I get it, because again, like, I do like to do things myself, and there are times that I like to feel independent and self-sufficient. And they say, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Or if you want something done the way that you want it done, you got to do it yourself. But then, like, you know, with my car being so messy, my apartment being so messy, yada, like, there's so many, I'm always rushing around, like me trying to carry that huge sack full of like 15, 20 pairs of shoes. That was very heavy. You know, I was really struggling to get that, to lift it at all, get it up the stairs in a corset. There's so many things where I'm like, damn, I wish I had an assistant. And if you want to call it caregiver, fine, we'll call it caregiver. But there's a big part of me with a lot of stuff in my life where I'm like, damn, I would love that shit. Like, come on, like, that's awesome. Like, if you have the means, if you can afford that kind of thing, why not just enjoy it? Why not just be thankful for that and just, you know, and it's giving somebody else a job too. Like, you know, get over yourself, get over your own ego a little bit maybe. And especially those older people, like they probably didn't have, a lot of them that I knew did end up dying. And a lot of them were closer to the end of their life, very old age. So it's like, you know, if you can afford it and you're not going to be able to live that much longer anyways, and keep your money for that much longer anyways. I know they probably wanted a lot of their finances to go to their family members, but it's like, well, why not just employ somebody and create a job opportunity? You know, you're employing somebody, you're giving somebody a job, so you're still giving back to society that way, and you're still doing something productive that way, and, you know, with their lives and helping somebody else out. And it's reciprocal, because, you know, it's like the caregiver would be helping them, but they would also be helping the caregiver by, you know, giving them a job and keeping them employed and providing them with money and financial means to have a job and all of that kind of thing. I don't know. But anyways, I just wonder sometimes, because yeah, everyone's situation is different. So it's like, what is the appropriate age when you're younger to no longer really be a candidate, or for it to be appropriate to have help from your parents or to have help from your family? Or, you know, like, is it 18? Is that the magic number? I moved out when I was 18, smack dab on the dot. Like, but my situation back then was very, very difficult and not nice and, you know, not good. I just want to see what this looks like with just the regular corset. Oh, damn. Oh my gosh. I have these in many colors. And then same with the old age. It's like, well, what is the appropriate age? Is it 65 just because that's the retirement age? Or a lot of older people don't want help, or don't seem to want help, or say they don't want care. But then there's people, like single people in their 30s, 40s, whatever. It's like, where a lot of us are probably like, hey, if I could afford that shit, I would definitely want an assistant or a caregiver or whatever you want to call it. I'll take it. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly how to wrap that up. I have 3 minutes to sign in for work. Crap. I have these corsets in lots of different colors, and I had a really nice burgundy one that mysteriously went missing from my apartment, so that makes me sad. The cabinet that it was missing from, I freaked out. That entire cabinet I took out of my apartment and I brought it here into the club. It's actually in the dressing room right now. I was like, you know, because one of my corsets went missing from there. That was one of my favorite ones. It was really nice. It was a burgundy one, and it was the top drawer. All of a sudden it was gone. I really don't think it was me misplacing that. So yeah, the entire cabinet, all the other drawers, the entire thing, just took it right out of the apartment. I was like, whatever, I'll just bring it into the club. I hate when that shit happens. That was a really nice corset. I really hope maybe I'll magically find that someday. But I doubt it. Who knows? One of my lipsticks that went missing I did find again recently, so I don't know, maybe. All right, I have 2 minutes to sign in. I guess, wow, it's December. Holy crap. I hope people out there are well and staying warm. I probably won't be able to get on tomorrow with the snow, but who knows? I'm not really too sure how that's going to go exactly quite yet. But happy Tinka Tuesday in advance in case I don't get to come on tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to come out Wednesday to clear some of the snow. Now that I've made more room in the back of my car with the shovel and all of that, got some of the shoes out of there. Whew, that was a task. But yeah, I'm gonna sign up for now and hopefully be able to get back on sooner than later, as I like to say. So peace out for now, guys. Be well, take care. Stay warm. Try to.